The Three Chopt Road. Several years ago, I had the privilege of attending a celebration recognizing one of my preacher buddies for 50 years of Christian ministry. It was a wonderful time of celebration. As the celebration unfolded, both of his preacher sons began to tell funny stories about their dad and his ministry. As the youngest son began to close his part, he got serious. He told us that he lives in Virginia, and the name of the road he lives on is Three Chopt Road. He stated that one day he became curious about that strange name and began to do some research. He discovered, according to Wikipedia, that Three Notched Road, also called Three Chopt Road, was a colonial-era major east-west route across central Virginia. It is believed to have taken its name from a distinctive marking of three notches cut into trees to blaze the trail. By the 1730s, the trail extended from the vicinity of the fall line of the James River at the future site of Richmond westward to the Shenandoah Valley, crossing the Blue Ridge Mountain at Jarman's Gap. In modern times, a large portion of U.S. Road 250 in Virginia follows the historic path of the three-notched road, as does nearby Interstate 64. So in essence, what he discovered was that the road took its name from the trailblazers who braved the wilderness and with their machetes and axes cut a series of three notches in the trees they passed along the way, thus leaving a trail for others to follow. He then stated, spiritually speaking, this is what my dad did. Wow, what a poignant reminder of how we as parents and Christians should strive to live our life. I think that somewhere along the way, we tend to forget that life is not a singular event. It is not a place we arrive at. It is not the accomplishment of some cataclysmic event. Instead, for each of us, life is a journey. As we travel and trailblaze our life paths, two things are critically important to remember. One, we must not miss the landmarks left by others as they travel before us. Two, we must leave landmarks for those who will follow after us. As I thought about not missing the landmarks left for us by others, even by God Himself, I recalled a story I heard years ago. The story is told of an old prospector who was making his way across America to California during the gold rush days. As the old prospector crossed the vast expanse of America, he saw many strange, wonderful, beautiful, and amazing sights along the way. However, none were as grand as his encounter with the Grand Canyon. As he rode his mule up to the rim of the Grand Canyon, he could scarcely take in the magnitude of the beauty and majesty that unfolded before his eyes. Before him there was a gorge through which the Colorado River flows, a gorge that at some points is a mile deep and extends for some 277 miles. It has fantastic shapes and multicolored peaks, canyons, ravines, and layers of rock that have recorded years and years of Earth's history. It is, to say the least, breathtaking. It is the handiwork of Almighty God. As the old prospector sat astride his mule and drank in the beauty and majesty of what lay before him, he slowly reached up and took off his hat, placed it over his heart, bowed his head, and whispered, "Surely something must have happened here." While the majesty and beauty that lay before him was more than he could comprehend, he could understand that he was viewing the handiwork and creative prowess of someone far greater than himself. God had left a landmark for him. As I thought about leaving landmarks for those who will come after us, I thought about a poem I heard years ago entitled "The Bridge." An old man going a lone highway came at the evening cold and gray. To a chasm vast and deep and wide the old man crossed in the twilight dim. The sullen stream had no fear for him, but he paused when safe on the other side, and built a bridge to stem the tide. "Old man," said a fellow pilgrim near, "you're wasting your strength by building here. Your journey will end with the closing day. You will never again pass this way. You've crossed a chasm deep and wide. Why build you this bridge at eventide?" The builder lifted his old gray head. "Good friend, in the path I've come," he said, "there followeth after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. The chasm that's been as naught to me, to that fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He, too, must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I'm building this bridge for him." I have two encouragements. We cannot blaze the trail for our family and ourselves unless we first recognize the landmarks we must follow. And yes, it is, so to speak, a three-chopped landmark we must fix our eyes upon. On a cross on a hill called Calvary, there were three indentions or chops made into the cross, one for each hand and one for his feet. And all along our life path, we find evidence of these marks. Whether in the night sky filled with wonder, the newly fallen snow, a baby's cry, a prayer at midnight, or a hand of a friend who steadies our gait, the chops are all around us, marking the path we must travel. We do not pass this way alone. Secondly, there are little ones who think we have hung the moon, who are struggling to follow the path we have blazed. Be sure to walk slowly so they can keep up with you, and be sure to leave plenty of chops along the path. There may come a time when they lag so far behind that they lose sight of you and drift completely off the path, and most likely you will finish your journey before they finish theirs. Either way, the only thing of lasting value you have to leave them is the chops you made along the way. Hey, make sure you're walking the right path and are leaving plenty of chops along the way. Remember, there followeth after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm that's been as naught for me, to that fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I'm building this bridge for him. Who are you building a bridge for? Lord, would you help us to remember that there are those in our life who are watching us and are looking for the chops we leave as we blaze through this thing called life, and we mark the way, the right way, the correct way, the Christian way, for them to follow us as we follow you. God, would you birth that in our hearts today? And I ask this in your name. Amen.